follow NASCAR. It's the third race in the playoffs of the second round. And joining us now, Tyler Reddick, of course, driver of the number 45 Toyota 2311 team. There with Michael Jordan's the owner for you out there. Tyler, how you doing today, man?
Doing great. Yeah, it's one day out from practice, just getting the last minute things done, just making sure all the details are taken care of, because obviously, this cutoff race, there's going to be a lot of things going on. So just trying to make sure we have all the details covered on our race car. Yeah. And not leaving anything on the table.
Well, let me ask you this. I know you're 2 points behind now. So I do a NASCAR show on the station as well on Thursdays. And, we spent a lot of time yesterday talking about you. You're 2 points under the cut line, which is obviously make-upable and everything. So going into this race this weekend at the ROVAL, what's the mindset for you guys? Is it stage points? Is it win the race? What's the mindset for you guys?
We have to be pretty flexible, I think. I think for the most part, we're not going to really know what our strategy is going to be until we're in the middle of the race, looking at where we're at compared to the other playoff cars. But that all starts with practice, on our bound, and getting a good understanding of what it's going to take to go out there, what things you have to stack up to put together a fast lap in qualifying. If we go out there and get some really good track position early on, I'd say it gives us a lot of options. If we're in the top 3 or 4 in stage 1, it gives us some opportunities there to close the gap. So we'll just see how it goes. It's largely going to depend on what everyone else is doing too, I think. So we can't really be set in stone with the game plan. We have to kind of be ready for anything.
Now your teammate Bubba Wallace obviously is in this playoffs as well. He's a little farther behind you in the points there. Is there obviously the teams match up in terms of getting the cars ready? But as drivers, do you guys talk about this race coming up and strategies at all, or is it basically every man for itself?
No, I mean teamwork's what's got us here. So we've been open book and very upfront with each other on everything. I mean, ideally, and it's a tougher scenario to see come to reality, but ideally, if we can pull it off, we'd want both of our cars to advance.
Yeah.
But we both understand that if we've known this from day one, right? If we're more worried about each other and not helping each other be the best when we get to the racetrack, we're just going to be behind. So
yeah.
We haven't let that get in the way of our preparation. Obviously, when it comes down to the end of the race, we're going to have to race really, really hard if it's for that last spot. But in preparation and in strategy and figuring out what our approach is going to be, we're not getting away from what's got us here.
So on this show, we have NASCAR guys that watch this show, but it's not the specific NASCAR show. How would you? I get asked this question a lot, and we explained it yesterday. But how do you describe the ROVAL to non-NASCAR people that ask that question?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, it is a road course. It's earned its unique nickname because of, the layout of the track. There's not a whole lot of road courses in the world that, their primary use has been an oval since its creation, decades and decades ago when they first started racing at Charlotte Motor Speedway. But all that stuff was set up from, I think, the time that they've been racing legend cars there. Obviously, they've been doing that for a very long time. They've had the summer shootout. They've ran on the road course there with legends cars. And honestly, it was technical, but it was certainly big enough to run stock cars on. So it, as it's evolved, they've worked on a couple of areas of what makes it the ROVAL and made it more true to a road course. So, I mean, it's pretty much just a straight up road course at this point. But certainly there's just certain things about it that's a little bit more unique than others. There's some pit roads that we go to where there's a lot of time lost on pit road. And this is one of those where, you miss, you kind of don't go through the front stretch chicane. And there's a lot of extra track going on track through turn 1 that is kind of taken out by the use of where the pit road is and where you blend back on. So there's certainly some things of the nature of it that are just different. The infield is, was really, really tricky when we first started running it. It was resurfaced and had a lot of grip, but with that came just, found themselves in the fence and the tire barriers. It's something that I'd say the whole field's gotten better at understanding. The rear chicane is certainly a little bit different than what it was at the start. It's more of a true chicane. And I'd say for the most part, everyone's really got it figured out. But with that being said, the restarts have been crazy there. And I think the new restart zone they came up with is designed to get rid of some of the chaos, but I think it could actually make it more interesting.
Well, that was going to be my next question. Obviously, before the start was you go right into that 90-degree turn. Now they've kind of given you, you go through the chicane first. You expect people to be more aggressive on that. Let's say there's a late race restart. Playoff spots are on the line, not just for you, but the other players in there. Do you expect people to be more aggressive now with the going through the chicane on the restart, or do you expect it to be less aggressive till after turn one?
I mean, it's I think what's going to happen is just the nature of going through that really slow chicane and the leaders being able to fire in that chicane. There's going to be a lot of cars in the back of the field kind of closing up to the restart zone that are going to there's probably going to be a lot of stack ups and a lot of, just accidental contact. So certainly if and when you are cycled to the back of the field throughout the race, just got to be very careful not to knock your nose off, not bend a toe link or damage any of your suspension. I do feel like with these cars, we can see pretty well outside of them, but when you put 30 of us out there and we go through a tight chicane like that, it's very, very difficult to actually see where the track limits even are, and people are probably going to bounce off curbs and into one another. So you just got to be ready to take advantage of those mistakes and those stack ups and hopefully pass them into turn one as a result. But we'll just see, right? Luckily for us, we race on Sunday and the Xfinity Series gets to do it before us. So that's going to be a good, a good practice test run for us watching it, right? We're going to have an idea what it's going to look like.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys get the advantage of watching them struggle with it possibly, right? Going through it. Of course, NASCAR does what NASCAR does best. And I always laugh at when NASCAR does. They changed the rules on the road course for this race. Stage breaks are coming back. They didn't have them, obviously, in the regular season. Did that change your strategy at all to flip those stage breaks, try to get some points, especially where you are in the playoffs? Or is it just that's just going to be a race call depending on what else happens out there?
Yeah, I mean, if you look back, a couple months ago coming into this race with the trend of the road course races this year, with how even the field has been on speed and fall off. Yeah, it completely changed it for sure. If this was a regular race, it probably wouldn't be the biggest of deals. But because this is a playoff race, I think it makes it, there's just a lot more what ifs and potentials for just not working at all, with this race without the stage breaks. It's very, very straightforward. It's all about qualifying, starting up front. And unless there's some untimely cautions, for the most part, if you just are faster, you're going to outpoint your competitors and be in good shape. But now with the way it's going to be, majority of the field isn't going to be caring about those stage points.
Yeah.
So it's going to put, all the cars that are in the playoffs in a tough situation where, I feel like a lot of the teams we're competing against want those stage points to put in the bank to help you get through the next round. But the majority of the field is not going to care about those points, and it's going to bury you if you choose to take them. So it's going to be a interesting race, right? And again, if you're really committed to one strategy or another, and a caution falls at the wrong time, it could totally flip your race on its head. If you haven't pit yet and a caution falls, it's going to pretty much burn you, and you're going to lose all your track position. So you just don't know what's going to happen. You just got to be ready for anything.
Yep. All right, Tyler, I appreciate it, man. I'm looking forward to this weekend. I'm looking forward to your success this weekend and making it into the round of 8 and possibly seeing you here in Phoenix here in just 5 short weeks if you count this weekend for the finish, man. I appreciate your time joining us this morning. Good luck this weekend. We'll be keeping an eye on you, man.
All right. Thank you, guys.
I appreciate it very much. And, of course, there was Tyler Reddick, the 45 driver of the Toyota 2311 team. Of course, for those of you non-NASCAR fans, it is owned by Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin as well out there. Tyler Reddick's 3 of 5 career wins have come on road courses. 2 top finishes at the ROVAL. As I said, he's outside right now in the playoff chase. So big weekend for him coming up. I appreciate him joining us as well. So when